This is the brand new KeyLab 61 MkII. This is just a really heavy machine, incredibly heavy. But Studio One, MkII, Logic, Pro Tools, could be me, but not me. Live, Cubase. Awesome. So I'm going to plug this into the workstation. Here we go. Start the machine. KeyLab. Okay, so the Windows is setting up the device. It's much better like this. It's kind of, you know, on the other videos, I thought this thing would be much more like bulkier, bigger or something. This is so small, which is very good because as you can see, I don't have here in this room. Device is ready, KeyLab is set up and ready to go. Let's just hold down this thing. Standard MCU, HUI Live, Logic, Pro Tools, Cubase. I'm going to create an empty and I'm going to try my new Nexus 3. So here's the problem. I'm touching the first fader here. And all of these faders are, for some reason, they're controlling the modulation wheel, a pitch shift, but they're not really controlling the pitch shift because, see, here's, I'm controlling pitch shift right now. I think what happens is I don't know how to get out of this thing. Previous, next, encoder, one, fader, one. But I think what happens is that I did not download the driver. Pitch just went down by itself. So now we're going to discuss this good looking keyboard but has so many problems. Let's talk about the faders. When I press it down like this, smooth, no grinding sound. Fader number 2, I press it down. I don't press it down too hard, I just press down a little bit. And here you go. If you can hear it, it's touching some surface here. And also, it has a free play This one doesn't have a pre-play. Almost seems like it had been used or was refurbished. You hear it? You hear? This fader here. It's grinding. That's unacceptable. That means this fader right here needs to be replaced. Let's go to the next fader. This one is nice. Though, right here. This is how you use faders, right here. It's grinding. Some more than others. You can hear it touching the surface of the metal plate. That means it's a poor job assembly. So this one is nice. We're not even talking about the performance. We'll get to the performance later. And also the response time, the MIDI signal, it doesn't feel like a real-time keyboard. Analog lab. Okay, what do we see here? Don't show this again. Okay, so first thing first, no response at all. I go to the dial and press it down. Cubase. Select, dial select Cubase. Okay, so I go to Studio Setup, MIDI. Here's my keyboard. I want to reset everything. Reset. Now, remote access. MkII HUI. Let's put KeyLab Lab 4. Keep. No sound. I don't understand why we have no sound, because this thing's supposed to be stereo output, studio audio connections, input, output. Sure does. Let's see, we have sound control speaker of this laptop. It's supposed to work, but it doesn't work. Press down. I'm gonna switch from Cubase. I'm gonna switch to standard HUI and press the knob. Studio setup. I'm gonna choose let's try this one here. Apply, okay. And I still don't have any signal coming into the, it's coming, but not from the keyboard. That's pretty weird. Let's try this one. So it doesn't work. Here. Doesn't work. Let's try again to switch to Pro Tools. No, nothing. Nothing. Let's see if it, well, Windows recognizes the keyboard. If I plug it and unplug it, let's try to restart the machine. It's never easy to set up anything at all. Never easy. Never. And this is, let's try a different plugin. Let's try groove agent. Let's load the sound. I don't hear anything at all. This is just odd.
Stuck in his job. Kidding.
There is sound on this machine. Just there's no sound coming from Cubase. It's a Tascam US224. It's a short thing. It worked with Windows Vista. So let's plug it in. Turn it up a little bit and turn this thing on. And we'll install the driver. And just in case, I'm going to restart Windows because Windows likes to be restarted after every installation. So let's just do that for Windows. Studio setup, audio, device switch, okay, new truck, new instrument truck. We're gonna load the sound, and there you go, we have the sound. Does it really work? Let's see. We open up another instrument like Nexus. Okay. The wheel. Okay. So it works. All right. Let's try record. Stop, go back. So it records. All right, stop. Stop, stop. How do I go back to the metronome? It sends the signal, the metronome is not working. The metronome is not working. Let's engage the metronome, okay, and let's just see. It's supposed to start the metronome. This is right now is in the Pro Tools. It's in the Pro Tools. I'm going to change it to Cubase and see if it's going to still work. Well, I think it now. I'm using fader. I'm using fader and pad is not working. So in Cubase mode, it's not working at all. Probably because it has all inputs. So let's just say if we want just this guy. Does it work? So the slider doesn't work. So it's being ignored, okay? So the sliders don't work. The record thing doesn't work. Mute thing doesn't work. So nothing works. So basically, the Cubase on this thing, for Cubase, and I'm using Cubase, it's just not working. In order for it to work, you have to go to standard HUI, then it starts working. Probably, maybe it will, maybe it won't. I don't know. But how do you set it to the center on this thing? How do you set it to the center? Let's say if you want to have this thing on the center from this keyboard, how do you set it? So, okay, so this KeyLab 61 Mark II really doesn't it does not want to center the pan unless you go here and just click 0, Now it's in the center. And I wonder if you can set this thing to 0. It would be nice to have some kind of a reset button here, just to, like, I don't know if KeyLab wants to do this, but it would be nice just to have a knob here or something, like click, it would be centered, and it's some kind of a button here to recenter, to just to make it 0. So I guess you have to still use the keyboard, the computer keyboard, to actually work the system. So okay, so the only thing that doesn't work in this thing is this metronome. So if you can set up metronome, this thing works, record works, but I don't hear the sound. I don't hear the sound. Again. Let's try to record it. And how do you go back to, let's say, most significant, least significant bit, most significant bit, master volume. So this thing has lots of work to do before it can actually become complete controller for Cubase. This is not complete controller for Cubase, and they said this will work with Cubase really well, but it doesn't work with Cubase. In fact, when it's set to Cubase, it doesn't work with Cubase at all, as if Cubase is not even there. So now I'm looking for something to go to, let's say, create the markers, and not markers, but create the in and out points, like left and right. Let's say starting at 2. And where's zoom? Where's zoom? You know, zoom on the keyboard. I still have to use the keyboard, right? So if I go to 1 and I click record, okay, so it's still more convenient for me to use keyboard than this thing. So this thing, I'm going to, so you pay so much for this instrument to have what? What do what would I actually use? What would I actually use on this keyboard? Nothing. I would use nothing here, nothing. Because this is absolutely useless. It takes me to go here to look for all this stuff, works or not. But here's my keyboard, everything is laid out for me, right at my fingertip. I go to marker 1, marker 2. So keyboard, so 1, see, I'm moving this with the keyboard, so it's very convenient for me to, it's all at my fingertips. If I buy a keyboard that is pertaining to Cubase, it's going to be so much easier for me to use it, okay? So this thing is overrated. Now, if I go to, let's say it's Analog Lab. I mean, who cares about the Analog Lab? Okay, you have Analog Lab. Why would I want to buy this thing if I can get myself KeyLab 61 Essential for $249 black? Here you go. Same darn thing. One more thing I want to mention. That this keyboard is defective. See how this key is lower? It's like collapsed. Here all the keys are kind of straight. But there's going to be one. When they say this is top of the line keys, this is kind of over exaggerated, that this is the best quality. This is by far not the best quality.